say, man. For those select few that are already initiated, y'all should already know what's coming. And for those of you that aren't, just chill and catch this vibe. Say, it's about that time, man, for you to open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind one time. Yeah, y'all fucking with the right one, man. And I just hope you feel it. Everything is vibration, man. You a vibration. I'm a whole vibe. So let me explain. I'ma stop playing. Just chill. We finna go there. Yes, sir. Nah. What it was, y'all. Damn. I guess that's Pretty Boy style. I'm choking, huh? You already know who it is, and if not, you know, I hope you can read. Y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Itself, and this right here, this ain't shit but some cosmic insight, man. And we're kicking off another series, man. And actually, this series right here, this gonna be a continuation of our old series, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about emotions, you know, because emotions make you cry sometimes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that right there, that let me know I'm old. But either way, man, look, this right here, this gonna be a little something about those people that have the moon in the 7th house of their natal chart. And before I actually get to that part, what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna give y'all a little information on the moon, just a little bit. And I'm also gonna give y'all a little information on what it means to have the moon in the houses, because that's a little different than the moon in the signs, okay? And so with that being said, man, you know, after that, we're going to talk about what the 7th house of the astrological chart is all about. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination. You know how we do. So let's go ahead and get it cracking, man. So the moon. The moon is your instinctive awareness. This is your emotional nature. This is how you feel. The moon can represent the relationship that you have with your mother or the lack thereof, or being the closest celestial body in relation to Earth and the whole entire solar system. The moon has the strongest effect on our moods and personality on a day-to-day basis, and, just like the moon has all the effect on the Earth's water and that strong pull on the Earth's tides, because the Earth is 65 to 70% water. Your body is 65 to 70% fluid also. So think about the effect it has on you. And when we're talking about the moon, this is who you are inside, man. This is how you feel about certain things. And when we're talking about the moon in the houses, this can reveal where and how we go about seeking emotional security and satisfaction. Pardon me. And looking at the house placement of the moon, this can show where we find important clues to the reasons for any perpetual emotional unrest, which take the forms of constant changes or ups and downs in the area of life that's ruled by whatever house, that she's in at that point in time. And it's in these areas that we should really try to make deep attachments rather than superficial and temporary emotional thrills, man. If we're really seeking, a real feeling of true belonging and emotional fulfillment. And, that's kind of what the house placement of the moon is about. And so when we're talking about what the 7th house of the astrological chart is actually all about, the 7th house is commonly referred to as the house of partnerships, because with this house, this is where we see a shift away from the self toward another. And by cooperating with and relating with another, we unite for the purpose of achieving something, which is really pretty much what happens here. Because the 7th shows us what partnerships can, and how they can take many forms, like marriages, business relationships, legal contracts, negotiation, best friends, and agreements and shit like that. And it also show how shit will go to a certain extent with them. And it's here that we will also answer questions like, why do we choose particular relationships that we choose? Is it for love? Is it for money? Is it for practical reasons or even social considerations? There are many reasons for uniting with another person, and it's usually to find balance or to fill a void within ourselves. But either way, the 7th wants us to know that the quality of our partnerships can, greatly enhance our experience, or it can greatly, fuck our shit up. It depends on what you're doing with it, man. And this house can also show the tensions that come within a relationship, and it can also serve to teach us the major lessons that come within relationships. And any planets placed here can really speak to the energies we have to work with in that area of life. And whether it be positive or negative, this is crazy. And with the 7th, the energies are usually projected onto others. These are energies and qualities that, you're not readily available to you, or you don't see so well in yourself. And a lot of times they're projected onto somebody that you're involved with. And the 7th is ruled by Libra and the planet Venus. And it's one of the angular houses of the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th. And it's the opposite of the 1st. And the 7th is, that's the descendant. This is where, this is your relationship energy, but it's also where you meet others in the world. It's because the first 6 houses are really more focused on the self. And so when we talk about having the moon in the 7th house, man, the most obvious thing about this placement is that these individuals take a lot of fucking emotional security in their relationships, man. And a lot of them really can't stand being alone at all. And even if it's just to go to the motherfucking corner store, man, like they're the one that always likes to have somebody with them, riding with them, man. And even if it ain't, going that far, in any case, they derive a lot of comfort from the validation that they receive from, other people, which that can definitely be a double-edged sword, because with them, they're so fucking highly influenced by the next motherfucker's opinions and feelings. And depending on the sign of the moon here, And especially when they're young, I can say, you know, a lot of them are the type that are always fucking jumping into relationships and, you know, with motherfuckers that they really don't know. And then these are the people that you see announcing on social media, like, this is the one, you know, they posting and all that shit only to get their bubble bursted, you know, real quick soon after that, man. And it doesn't always happen like that. And it's not always negative, but, you know, until they learn to find what they seek in themselves first and understand how that they have to love themselves and that they don't need nobody, they're usually going to have some troubles in their relationships because it's just so important to them, man. And, you know, they're just relationship people. When your moon is in the 7th house, like, you're relationship oriented, man. And they have a very hard time dealing with their emotions on their own. So they feel like they just need to be with somebody, no matter how in love they are or, you know, how healthy or toxic the relationship may be for them, man. And the thing with these relationships and them not wanting to be alone is, you know, their emotions confuse them. They don't know how to deal with them, and they think too much to allow themselves to ever actually feel anything. And so they kind of instinctively seek out relationships and companionship, if not for anything else, but to have an emotional, like an emotional sounding board and somebody that can subconsciously show them how to feel and react to the shit that's going down. Because a lot of the times, like, they're so indecisive because this is that Libra energy in there. They don't know what's going on with themselves. And really looking even further into it, you know, 7th house moon people are the type of people that are kind of like really able to connect with people in a very intuitive and subtle ways. And although they can be very indecisive to a fault and tentative in certain aspects, man, other people really grow to appreciate what fucking great listeners they are. And, you know, how emotionally responsive they kind of tend to be. And their relationships just really mean everything to them. And people that deal with them and that have personal relationships with them understand that about them, because they know that they're going to go to bat for you. They're going to ride for you. They want you, and even when it's done, all said and over with, they want you to be better for the experience. You're going to learn something from dealing with them, man. And I'm not just talking about their romantic partnerships either, man. Not at all. I'm talking about, you know, their business partnerships, you know what I'm saying? Their personal friendships and their relationships with their close family members. Like, they want to know that, hey, man, everything's good. And like, that's another thing that can always be a double-edged sword, because these relationships are so important to them that sometimes, you know, they kind of can do manipulative things and do things, you know, to keep these relationships going, man. And a lot of the times you just gotta, and boy, if you got Moon and Pluto both in the 7th house, sheesh, that's going to be trouble right there. I'll tell you straight up. And, you know, at the same time, it is about that, because when I think about a person with Moon in the 7th house, like, they're the type of people that, you know, marriage is likely to be one of their major goals, man. Like, one of their major goals. And they thought about it when they were little. You know what I'm saying? Like, that fairy tale type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're hopeless romantic, and they probably watch those type of movies and everything, man, if it's a female, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the guys, but, you know, I've dealt with a lot of people, you know, as far as charts, and I've dealt with people in my personal relationships that have Moon in the 7th house, and like, they're hopeless romantics really deep down in a way. Not the same as the one we're finna talk about here in a minute, but yeah, man, you know, they just want somebody special to spend the rest of their life with. And having the Moon in the 7th house also indicates kind of like underlying aspects of themselves that they kind of have difficulty owning and incorporating with their conscious ego. And, you know, their self-image is probably a little bit distorted. So they're attracted to people who inherently possess the qualities that they tend to repress in themselves. And, you know, and that's based on their moon sign too, because that could change this too a little bit, but it usually, you know, 10 out of 12, let's put it like that. Yeah, it goes like that. because uniting with those type of people for them with the moon in the 7th, man, they're able to achieve, a type of wholeness in themselves. So in other words, the other person can complete them. You know what I'm saying? And like, good luck with that, man. Because the characteristics that they have trouble within themselves, they're just attracted to that in the other person. You know what I'm saying? And, their moon sign characteristics, in this case, they're going to get relegated to the back seat of the awareness. And to be honest, I've also seen that a vast majority of them are much more aware of other people's feelings and emotions than they are of their own, And so that's the thing. And they just have trouble with their own. They're not going to deal with their own, but they want to make sure that you're comfortable and feeling emotionally secure. And at the same time, they're kind of subconsciously drawn to those disowned lunar characteristics and are able to integrate them into their own personality through marriage and other forms of relationships and partnerships with motherfuckers who kind of openly express those same qualities. And the people that they're drawn to will typically, display positive aspects of their own psyche that they haven't quite fully developed or become comfortable with yet. So that's a motherfucker in its own, man. And hopefully that works out for the both of them and that they don't end up losing themselves in the process, because that could go both ways. And lastly, I want to say that depending on the Mars and the dignity of the placement, most of the time these people are going to be pretty even keeled in their demeanor. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean when it comes to their temper. So that's definitely an asset. Like they usually are very even keeled, man. But even if they weren't, man, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. You understand that, y'all? You don't have to feed into the negativity. You don't have to allow any bullshit to consume you, because we all have all of this energy available to us in all of our charts. And what you do with it is what you do with it, man. And I also want to understand is that a lot of people, when they talk about this placement in particular, they're going to be saying, well, I don't identify with this. That's not, hey, man, if you paid attention to what I just said, you have a hard time identifying with these qualities in yourself if you have moon in the 7th house. So you project it on to the next motherfucker, or you look for it in the next motherfucker. And until you learn to identify it in yourself, you always going to have those type of problems. But like I said, either way, you'll be all right, because just because you build like that, you don't have to build like that. You don't have to feed into the negativity. You don't have to allow any bullshit to get at you, okay? And that's been some priceless knowledge in itself. There's been some priceless knowledge of self. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com, man. And if you're interested in donating to the channel, you can look at the link in the description below. For the people that have donated, I thank you so much. I love you. Hey, man, I'm going to keep it pumping. Y'all see my work ethic is uncanny. Hey, man. And it's all out of love. It's all out of love. We're going to be back in a minute with a little something about those people that had the moon in the 5th house of their natal chart. You know why? Because I have the moon in the 5th house of my natal chart. Yeah, boy. And also, man, y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Hit the bell icon so you can get notified when I drop some new shit, which is going to be a lot more frequently. And I was already doing it frequently. So I'm just going to keep it pumping, man. I'm divinely inspired. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Y'all stay out of trouble. Keep it real. I'll be back in a little bit.